welcome back. It's me, Jenny. We are doing a Q&A. As you can see, I'm not in my home right now. I'm in Colorado, which you probably know if you've seen my last vlog. I wanted to touch base. I like to touch base every so often, so we're all on the same page. Answer some burning hot steamy questions, and yeah, just like chat it out a little bit. So obviously I got a lot of questions about why I decided to relocate to Colorado. I wanted to give like some background info on my thought process and just like what this process has been like for me in general. I get really rambly when I talk about myself, I think. So first batch, what made you finally decide to go back to your hometown? Why did I leave New York? Are you happier that you are out of New York? What's the favorite thing about being back in Colorado? I'm gonna try to be concise. I am back in Colorado now. I'm in Durango, which is my hometown. My parents don't live here. They live in Colorado, but not in this town. I'm in an Airbnb. I will be going back to New York. I'm not sure when. So that should cover that basis. Why I decided to relocate back here for the time being was kind of a long, hard decision and like preparation up until this point. When everything started hitting New York, I think a lot of people fled. I remember that first weekend of people kind of starting to realize that we were gonna be in lockdown, it was gonna be unsafe to travel, all of these things. Isabel and I, my roommate, decided at that point to stay, which seemed safer for ourselves and everyone not to like be moving around at that point. That we realized that things were much more intense than we previously knew. Isabel and I were on the same page of just being hyper careful. So didn't leave my apartment for 3 weeks at all. Didn't step foot on the sidewalk even, like groceries being delivered maybe twice, or any like postal service. I left at that midway point to do laundry. We walked to Isabel's sister's apartment to do laundry there. They weren't living there, so we were alone there just doing laundry. And then came back, so that was like the middle point and the only time I left. And then I was there for another 3.5 weeks and was not going on walks, wasn't leaving. So decided to come back to Colorado mainly because during those last 3 weeks, my health was really deteriorating. I have a chronic illness. I was experiencing some really intense flare-ups, which usually I would have access to medical care, and I was just really unwell. I knew I had been quarantining for a long time, so I just felt really, really confident that I was not infected. I kind of had this window where I knew people wouldn't be flying that often. It had been long enough into it that like people were not traveling, and also I didn't want to travel when things did start reopening because that seemed worse if the planes were gonna be packed. So that was my thought process. I was just super careful. A lot of people asked if like they should be, or like what the difference is and if they should leave also. I really don't want to answer any of those questions because every situation is unique. I think we should all continue to err on any side of caution that we can. The biggest reason I left was just solely for like needing to look after my own physical health. Obviously it's much nicer being in Colorado, also of being able to social distance safely. I do realize huge like privilege, and also it's jarring to watch anyone move about right now. Like even for myself, watching people do anything that doesn't seem necessary makes me uneasy. So I understand that me leaving or like coming to a new place can make people feel uneasy, which I definitely took into consideration. Hopefully any of that makes you understand a little bit more. Otherwise, yeah, that's where I'm at right now. It's been good to be back in my hometown. I'll be staying here until further notice. YouTubers, I'm loving their content lately. Dominique, his videos have been so good. He's just on top of it. Everything is so creative, so funny, so well edited that he puts out. He's just been killing it. Like, hands down, one of the best YouTubers out there. If you guys don't follow him yet, you should do that. I'm sure most of you know who he is. Favorite YouTube workouts. I've been doing Chloe Ting's 14-day shred challenge, which I started in the beginning of the quarantine, and I was not consistent with it, and then I recently restarted. I'm now on day 6, so I'm proud of myself for sticking with something. If anyone wants to do that with me, I think I'm gonna make a video of it just for funsies. How has quarantine been affecting your mental health? Any tips for staying positive? How do you deal with mental health during quarantine? How am I feeling? Do I feel more pressure to post at this time? What's making me feel grounded? Okay, good question. I think we are all feeling unwell right now. It's a pretty natural response to either be realizing that you're feeling unwell, or maybe realizing that you're in like a fight or flight response where you're not actually even able to understand like what your body is doing right now, because I think everyone's just trying to survive and look out for themselves and their family, all of these things, and other people. There's a lot of stress in the news. Like, all of these things definitely will play a role on mental health, especially losing your jobs, losing people you love. Like, it makes sense that we're not all doing amazingly right now. I think first step is just acknowledging that and having acceptance that the situation is not great, and especially in New York, which was much harder because I wasn't leaving at all. I think the biggest thing came down for me to like accepting, like, you're staying in your apartment, you're not gonna leave. So like, you have to accept that this is your reality. And like, there's no denying that you have to do this. So the best thing you can do right now is just like make the best out of what you can. For your own personal situation, that's been helping me stay like somewhat, whatever, keeping this into perspective, and also just focusing on staying as grateful as possible for what I do have, which the next question kind of went into, what are you most grateful for during this quarantine, and are there any positive things that you've gotten out of quarantine? I think I'll be doing like a post-quarantine reflection video, because we all have so much time to think right now. Right off the bat, the most positive thing is that I've finally been able to kind of release time a little bit, since I know that like maybe I'm not leaving for I don't know how long. I've been able to just kind of be more at ease with like my days and my time, and since that pressure has been removed, I feel like I am able to actually use time more effectively on some days, instead of like dealing with the paralyzation that I usually have around time. So that's been really good. Grateful. I never, thought a situation like this was going to happen, but I'm super grateful that my job has been very minimally affected compared to most people, and that I can still make videos from home, from wherever I am, and also just haven't lost anyone or even come close to losing someone. And yeah, my heart goes out to any of you that have. I can't imagine like having to be dealing with all of the stress of this situation, and also dealing with the grief around that is very, very difficult. A little lighter note, where is my everyday jewelry from? Get a lot of questions on these. These babies that are a little bit newer, yes, I never take them off. I get so many comments being like, do you sleep with your rings on? They're always on, because I don't want to lose them, and I will lose them if I take them off my body. These are from the designer Luiny. She's one of my all-time favorites. This was my grandma's. This one's Wolf Circus from a while ago, and then my sister gave me this one a few years ago for Christmas. The necklace I always wear is this cowboy charm, and that's from Garbage, New York. Those are the ones that are like on my body. Feelings about psychedelics. I just wanted to throw this in here for fun, but I'm pretty open to most things. Would you consider pursuing a graduate degree / do you ever wish you hadn't become an influencer? I would say this is a weird thing. This idea has been popping into my head, and then I keep getting it in multiple places about going back to school. And then I've recently just really been reconsidering getting a master's, because I think it'd be really cool to go back and study something that I'm actually extremely passionate about, which I didn't really get that experience in my undergrad. So that's actually something that's on the table for me. YouTube is not like a forever career. I have also just like a handful of passions that I could see my life going in, so I kind of want to make sure I'm heading in the correct direction, or like studying what I want to, that would lead to like the career path I want, before I would go back to get more schooling. Yeah, I could see it. I am so grateful with YouTube right now. I'm having a lot of fun. I just think it's the coolest thing that this has somehow become my job, and I want to like grow my channel, and I want to work on different like creative projects within this, and I feel excited for that with all of this downtime to really like lean in to that. So hopefully I can start pumping some stuff out, because it did take me a while to readjust. Where do I see my channel going in the future? I think I'm definitely like have slowly shifted into like a wellness area, which I just want to continue learning more about, which is one of the biggest like things I'm passionate about in life, and I like sharing things around mental health and how to become better versions of ourselves. It's super important to me. And like I also want to work on like even my Instagram and other presence is just like sharing more and more information and taking time to like make sure everything that I'm sharing is like more valuable, and making more of like a community base out of everything. Pros and cons of nipple piercings. I don't know if I've ever answered this question. I have one nipple piercing. I'm sorry, Mom. I've had it since I was 21. I got it on my 21st birthday. I love her. I like her. I hate her sometimes. So many times I'm like, oh, I just want to take it out. But then I've had it for almost 3 years, so it just feels like, why did I come all this way to take it out now? Cons, just like the feeling of getting it caught on something and having your whole life flash before your eyes, because it is just so painful. Best year for you and worst year for you. I liked this question because it made me think. I originally tried to pick a best and worst year, and then I realized the general line of my life has just been getting better and better with each year, which hopefully stays true. There might be an outlier. I'm also someone who like, I don't like when online, I know everyone online, like the memes are cynical, whatever. It's just like, well, 2019 was a bust, like see you in 2020, because every year there's just ups and downs. Bad things happen, good things happen. For the most part, obviously some years really bad things might happen and it might really wreck your whole year, but I don't like the generalization, I guess, that like if something bad happens, it's like you're bound to just like have a horrible year. Fav Inexpensive Skincare. Coco Kind is a really beautiful little brand. I think natural skincare can be a little bit more pricey, and theirs keeps it pretty affordable. Number one, Holy Grail skincare product. I can't pick one because I've had a few that I still just stand by, so I'm gonna leave them on the screen here. How did I grow my hair so long? It looks chopped off right now. It's very long. This is the longest it's been. It's a little bit dry being back in the Colorado air, but I stopped using heat. I started using semi-permanent hair dye like probably like 8 months ago, which I think made a big difference, because I used to only be able to grow to here, and after that it would just split. It wouldn't go any further. Now it's the longest it's been probably since like I was in kindergarten, so it also just feels a lot more healthy. I also never use heat on it, and I always use leave-in conditioner. I use the Function of Beauty, and I think that makes a really big difference too. What's the inspiration behind my aesthetic / advice for gaining more confidence in your 20s, styles, relationship, career? I clumped those together as essentially a same question, because boils down to it, it's just like trial and error, making mistakes and then learning from them. Like having an aesthetic now, I think the only reason it feels like I have a specific vibe is not even one that I'm trying to do anymore, because it's just like I have a taste that I have like grown a little bit more. And when I was younger, I was way more likely to just like throw in some random stuff and see if that was me, and like that day maybe it felt like me that day, and then like would change very swiftly, where now like I might put something out and I still will probably resonate it with some level of degree like for longer. And I think that's how you become more sure of yourself when it comes to relationships, style, etc. All of that I think is the same way of just like trying things out and then reflecting on actions, figuring out like what it is that you're passionate about, and just like growing yourself. All of that comes with time. I'm certainly still figuring it out in a lot of ways. How are you dealing with living as an adult with family, not reverting to toxic relationships? I could say a lot about this, but you should follow Holistic Psychologist on Instagram. She talks about this a lot and is just really brilliant and has helped me work through a lot of things. How tall am I? I'm 5'6". How old are you now? I liked this question because it said now. It made me feel old. I'm 24. I'm getting riper with age. I still don't feel 24. I still sometimes mistake that I'm 23 because my 24th birthday was and then I also had, it's been a weird time since then. How did I bounce back from a breakup? I struggle with moving on afterwards. How am I healing? What's the process of dealing with a breakup during quarantine, and like how do you know when breaking up was the best move for your relationship? I'll answer that one first. I think breaking up is a really hard thing to do. It's hard to like lose someone that was a big part of your life, and there's just so many feelings involved. I think when you start hitting walls that are consistent of like having the same issues and not being able to see eye to eye to work through them is one of the biggest things that I've had in my life, where it's like, okay, like we've tried it and we really can't get through this like essential thing that we would need to like be on the same page about. Or yeah, like sometimes you just need space to figure yourself out before you can be with someone else, and that changes even if when you were with them to begin with and then you grow apart and need something else. Like I think relationships, you constantly have to check in with yourself, and it's really easy to get caught up in them. For my own opinion, I guess it's been like 5 or 6 months now, which feels really crazy. I'm doing overall really well. I don't want to speak about this too much because it is one of those lines that can be crossed easily when speaking for a party of two. Yeah, I learned so much from that breakup. Holy I feel like I've grown so much as a person within the past 4 months even. In quarantine, my heart goes out to you of dealing with the loss of a relationship while you're like stuck inside and you can't really do anything to get over it or meet new people or hang out with friends or just like do things that make you happy outside of your home, and you have a lot of time to sit and think. But I do feel like I processed emotions quicker than maybe I would have because I had more time to think and sit and come to conclusions, and now I feel like I really am in a good space to realize that what I had was beautiful and loving, but it also was not working and wasn't like the right thing for either of us. And I just feel really confident on that information. I think it'll continue to like, you have glimpses of like that past and like mourning of like what you thought your life was going to be with them, and I think that will probably continue to happen in small doses for a while. And also I would just say like it's really necessary to focus on yourself when you are going through a breakup. There's a lot to reflect on, and I think if you don't reflect on it, then it'll just like fester inside of you. So that in that way, having this time during quarantine to not really distract myself but actually like take it head on has been actually very helpful. Someone said, should I shave my head? And then someone else said, I've shaved my head and now lost all sense of personal style, help. Maybe you guys can talk to each other. Yeah, you guys should link in the comments. I'm also gonna link a video of my friend Meredith, my best friend Meredith from high school, just shaved her head and she looks really badass and beautiful, so maybe you should do it. What kind of person do I admire? I thought this was a nice question. I think I admire the most, I'm most attracted, not even sexually, but just like I feel magnetic people to me that I admire are just really unique in themselves. Like I really love people who just, you can tell, are very free in being whoever they are, and I think that comes with confidence. And I think genuine confidence with that also comes with like a sense of being a kind person, because there's not as much judgment or like projection onto other people when you feel more secure in who you are. And I feel like people like that are just like super magnetic. Passionate people, people who just like are relentless for their causes, I really admire that. And yeah, overall I think I value kindness from people as like one of the biggest things that I think is beautiful. Favorite movie? Movies I actually like have and I own: Mamma Mia, Grand Budapest Hotel, Little Women, Sabrina 1995 version, and I want to put Her on that list. It's on Netflix, so I don't own it, but like I love that movie. Any top tips on how to be confident online? I want to share my art, but I'm scared it's not good. How do you overcome the life limiting fears, career, love, passions, etc.? These are two really good questions that are near and dear. Put your stuff out there. At the end of the day, when you're on your deathbed, you will not remember not doing something. You'll remember doing something. That's something that's like very cliche to say, but it's something that I try to rule my life with now, of when I'm scared of something within reason, or like intimidated by doing something or putting things out there, if someone doesn't think your art is good, that sucks for them. But like, end of the day, if you like something and you're passionate about it, like nothing should stop you. It's your ego talking to you that's like scared of rejection, scared of failure, scared of trying, scared of success. Your ego wants to keep you in this little box that's like of safety and doesn't want you to do anything outside of that box, but outside of that is a world beyond your beliefs. I think any success I've had in life from putting myself out there outweighed greatly any sense of like rejection I've felt throughout the years, which I've definitely had a lot of feelings of rejection, but also I wouldn't be where I am today if I just didn't like put things out there. Overcoming life-limiting fears. I think fear is something I do a lot of like my mental psychological work around, because I am someone who lives with a lot of fear. Again, back to what I said of like really fighting against that ego that wants you to stay put. Love. I am such a firm believer it's better to have loved and lost than to never have loved at all. I think that phrase is very nice. I think it's true. Any heartbreak, even feeling the very recent like trenches of like having your heart ripped out, I still have no regrets on like really full throttle being in that relationship, because I really was so like 2 feet in. I love that way. I always have been that way with love, of just like giving it my all. Career, passions especially, just follow what makes you happy, what makes you feel excited to wake up in the morning. And I really feel like that won't let you down. Even if it doesn't become like a huge success, you still like have joy that those things bring you. And if you don't try to follow them, then you're losing out on that joy, I think. So also just not being attached to the outcome, I think is also one of the biggest things that I try to focus on when I'm doing something new or scary, is not needing a certain result in order to feel fulfilled in like doing it is a good thing. I'm gonna leave it there. That feels like a healthy amount of questions to answer. This will probably be pretty long already. Thank you so much for watching this. I appreciate your attention. I'd love to hear what life has been like for you guys recently, anything you're thinking about. If you want to answer any of these questions yourself, that would be cool. I'd love to start a little convo down below. If you want to like this video, it helps me out, and I will see you in the next one.